Hi, and today we're going to talk about neutralisation reactions. Now, very simply, a neutralisation reaction is a reaction where an acid reacts with a base to form salt and water. Now, a base, is a substance that can neutralise an acid. And there are several types of substances that we consider bases. They are metal oxides, for example, magnesium oxide, hydroxides, so metal hydroxides, for example, sodium hydroxide. That's one we use an awful lot. And another one we use a lot as well, metal carbonates. For example, the one we use quite often in school is calcium carbonate. Now, you're going to need to look back at the work that you did on ions recently. And if I were you, I would be writing down all these key terms. So stop the video when you need to, jot down the notes that I'm doing, so you've got them in your book. So a quick reminder about the ions that you need. So for this lesson, the ions that you're going to need are the sulfate ion. So that's SO4 2-, the nitrate ion. So that's the NO3-. And then a new one that you're going to need the chloride ion, which is Cl-. So they're the negative ions we've looked at before. And also you're going to need some new ions as well that we haven't looked at before. You need the hydroxide ion, and that's OH-, and the carbonate ion, which is CO3 2-. Now what I would do is I would write down all these ions, and they are ones that you need to learn. I would normally give them to you on a sheet. Obviously I can't do that right now. So then they're the negative ions you're going to need for this. For the positive ions, you'll need the group 1 metals. So if you remember, they're all +1. You'll need the group 2 metals. They're all +2 ions. The aluminium ion again, which is +3. Iron 3, I think we mentioned last time, so iron 3 ion, which is Fe3+, but also the iron 2 as well, so that's Fe2+. So if you see something in a question which says iron 2, that's the ion that you need. And then as well, introducing as well, I don't think we've done it, the hydrogen ion, which is H+. So I just want to go back to these examples I gave you up here: magnesium oxide, sodium hydroxide, calcium carbonate, and I just want to use the information that we've looked at in previous lessons. You need it to work out the formulae, what the formulae are for each of these. Make that a bit smaller. Okay. So magnesium oxide. Okay, the magnesium ion, it's in group 2. So what would the charge be on that? It would be 2+. And the oxide ion, oh, I forgot to mention the oxide ion over here, didn't I? So the oxide ion is, oxide ion is O2-. Okay, so O2-. If you remember back to what we looked at last time, these need to balance out to equal 0. So 2 + 2-, they equal 0. So you only need one each of those. So the formula is MgO. For sodium hydroxide, okay, the sodium ion is a group 1 metal, so it has a +1, so sodium Na+, and then the hydroxide ion here, OH-. Again, we look at the charges, they balance each other out, so it's NaOH. You only need one each of those. Calcium carbonate. Apologies for that, my little one was coming up the stairs. Calcium carbonate, the calcium is in group 2, so it's Ca2+, and then the carbonate ion is 2-, CO3, 2-. So again, they're going to balance each other out. It's CaCO3. So let's have a little think about neutralisation reactions, shall we? So there are several general equations you need to learn for neutralisation reactions, and I'm going to give you some of those now. And they are metal oxide plus acid gives us salt plus water. Metal hydroxide plus acid gives us salt plus water. Metal carbonate plus acid gives us salt plus water. Okay, so we're going to do some examples now. Oh, forgot that one, plus carbon dioxide in that case. Carbon dioxide. Okay, that actually last one, adding a metal carbonate to acid is a test to for the carbonate ion, and if it produces carbon dioxide, you know that you've got a carbonate ion produced. To test to see if it was carbon dioxide, you'd use lime water. Okay, so let's do some examples. So let's say copper oxide. So if we have copper oxide plus sulfuric acid, you need to look back at the stuff we did last time on sort of the naming salts, because that's the next bit you need to do. So water's always going to be produced, and then the metal bit, copper, you're using sulfuric acid, so it's going to be a sulfate salt. I said don't come up. 2 minutes. Okay, sodium hydroxide. So if we look at the hydroxide now, hydroxide plus this time, let's say hydrochloric acid. Okay, produces water. And then again, you need to name it. So the metal uses sodium. You've got a hydrochloric acid, so it's going to be a chloride salt. And then lastly, calcium carbonate plus nitric acid gives us water plus, okay, again, you've got calcium, calcium's the salt, sorry, calcium's the metal, you've got calcium, you've got nitric acid, so it's going to be a nitrate salt, calcium nitrate. Okay, hopefully that will help you with the tasks that you've got to do today. If you're doing higher paper, you will need to do the balanced equations as well, which is why I've reminded you of the ions that you need to try and work out what the formulae are for the acids. Drop me any messages that you need to. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.